Do, 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 do. Hey, there we go. Another soft landing, motherfucker guy. There we go. I've been asked this by a lot of people. Um, there was a time about 15 or 20 years ago. Actually, it's like 20 years ago. I guess I'm getting older. I did buy a bunch of land out west, and I made a good bit of money on it. I've got a sixth sense. Some very rich people that I know agree. That's why I was gifted 10 acres. Now I have land in 4 different spots of Kentucky. I got it out west, I got it down south, I got it far east. So, people have been asking me about what to, and also too, right now for 2 different people, and I've got the word out to a couple real estate agents, and I'm keeping my eyes peeled. People want me to check out land, and they're looking for certain parameters, and I'm looking for land for them. If it meets their criteria, then I will personally, because I live in different states far away from here, to go and check it out for them and have a fee for that. That fee will be negotiated for me to go down the checklist and provide pictures and so on and so forth. I might have to even buy a cheap drone to send them drone footage, because a drone is very, very useful for real estate. There's a lot of factors to look for when buying land. I really do mean this, I have an intuition about buying. Anybody could throw a lot of money, which I don't have at all, at buying really nice land, but there are some things to look for on some of the really cheap land. What to look for in buying land. Here's are some of the primary factors that I look at and things that I do that are so important. Is it bottomland? Meaning, is it in a flood zone? Very, very important. Like, it might look gorgeous now, but what about when the rain hits? I mean, is it 2 feet underwater, 5 weeks out of the year? Then building on it becomes an issue. Also, too, is it compatible if you put a house on it for having the correct ground strata for a septic system? Very important. Is there water on it? Is there water running through it? Very important. Is it clean water? Also, too, incredibly important. On my cabin land, I have a spring running through it. On the other land, I have a creek running all the way around it. And where my farm is at, there's a pond right there. Very nice pond. Is there an easement? Is the easement written into the deed? You need to look at the deed and do deed research. Not only get a title search, which is so very important, but you yourself need to read the deed. Is it landlocked? It's a serious issue. You might buy a whole lot of land really cheap, but if you don't have an easement, meaning an access point from, some place to park, through someone else's land, then, it's like, great, I own a lot of land way over there. I can't get to it, but I bought it. And it's like, well, great. So is it landlocked? If it is, does it have an easement? What redeeming features, if any, are there on the land? Caves? How good and how deep is the topsoil for growing? It might be the most gorgeous land in the world, but if it's no damn good for growing on it. But these may or may not be factors for you, but these are things important for consideration. You need to get a title search. Yeah, that's where some lawyers go down, and you could do that yourself, but you need to get a title search. You're looking at the deed book and page number, and that makes reference to a prior deed and a prior deed to that. See if there are any liens on the property, because when you get a title search, you get title insurance. Depending on where you're at, those variables may be different in different states. Really, the most important thing, nobody ever mentions this, it's insanely important, is talking to the darn neighbors. It's like, you may not want to do it. Knock on a stranger's door. It's like, hey, I'm getting this land. Is there anything you know about it? Well, yeah, so-and-so used to live there, and, they spilled toxic waste in the back part of it. Not that anybody ever told me that. Talking to your neighbors about the land is insanely important. I don't like doing it, and nobody does, knocking on strangers' doors. I was like, hey, I'm not selling nothing. I'm just getting this. I've done that so many times. It's very, very revealing. The stuff that you find out from people who have lived around the damn land, for decades. Way more than you can get from endless of hours of research down in the deed room So talking to your neighbors. How accessible is the land to services and to food and the main road? How far do you have to drive to get to the grocery store? You might want some super recluse land that's in the middle of nowhere, but really, like if you break your leg, it like take 10 hours to reach you. You might die. The question is, what is the accessibility? Some people want it inaccessible. Most people don't. They like remote, but they at least like to, not drive more than 25 minutes to get like gas and food. So, how are the trees on it? Also, too, what kind of trees? Is there indication that people are stealing the trees on it? Because that's an issue too. Really, also you want to know what kind of neighborhood you're in. You may be out in the total sticks in the middle of nowhere and nowheresville, but you still want to know what kind of neighbors you have. Are your neighbors a bunch of meth heads that are going to rob and steal everything you own if you leave it for 5 seconds? Or are they good neighbors like, wow, I don't have an issue with people, like if park my tractor here, no one's going to steal it. So, factors of desirability. All of these, of course, are factors and variables of desirability. You really need to, sometimes it's so overgrown that you can't do it, but this is the reason why early spring and mid to late fall is so good to get land, because you could walk all of it. You need to walk over all the frigging land. If you're going to get it, you just can't I like that. You gotta walk it all. Huff and puff, get dirty and sweaty, and your shoes are gonna get muddy. Doesn't matter. I've done that so many times. You need to walk all the land. The best deals I've found on land, the very best deal, are the ones that are superficially ugly. Most beautiful tract of land I have is just superficially, when you drive out, it's like, man, this is a mess. But there's a back access to that land of mine. It's just like a fantasy forest. It's gorgeous. The pond and the barn and the big, big, big trees. It's really good to find land that's superficially ugly, because dumb people will pull up to it, man, this sucks. I don't want this. And then they go. And then you can negotiate the price down. You get a gorgeous piece of land because everybody else is too lazy. They're just too lazy. Does the land have any restrictions on it for building or otherwise? Is there a septic system restriction? Is there a restriction on where you could build or how you could build? You need to know that. Is there other people, this may not matter, but a lot of people care about this, especially when it comes to farmland get away from it all land. Is there good game on the land? In other words, you have creatures there that can feed you. My cabin land has tons of turkey, tons of deer. Nice. They're just all over the place. So, here's something else that's a subsidiary to this. People have been telling me that, investment groups are buying. It's not true. Investment groups right now are actually buying homes and they're flipping them as rental properties for themselves as a rental income. The city people are the ones, especially up in these horrible places that people are leaving in droves, like New York and Chicago hell and Michigan hell and California hell. Those are the people that are buying the raw land here in Kentucky and Georgia, so on and so forth. It's not investment groups. Investment groups are buying a lot of stuff, but you're wrong. Investment groups are not buying raw land. They're not. There's been a huge spike in property by investment groups for purchase, but it's been homes to turn them into rental pieces. So you're wrong when it comes to raw land. Those are not the people that are spiking things on real estate surgence here lately. So anyway, a lot of people wanted me to make this video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know, and my services are also available if you're looking for land in Kentucky for a fee. I can go and completely scope it out, take pictures, walk it all, talk to the neighbors. I can do all that. So I got very, very good skills on looking at land. I always have. I have a 100% track record on land, so 100% track record's pretty good. Maybe that's what I was meant to be, other than a translator and a metaphysician and a photographer, as a raw land guru. I don't have the money to buy big pieces of land, but I'm really good at scoping it out, so and finding deals on raw land. So thanks for watching.